All right, we're back. I hope you had a chance to work on your answers a little bit. Remember, we always save these into Seesaw. I'm going to switch screens here a minute so that I can go ahead and provide some answers to you. Move over here onto my iPad for a moment. All right, there we go. So question number 1. I gave you a reaction that involved silicon and fluorine, 2 of those, an arrow moving to the right, and then I said 3 silicon fluorides with a 4. All right, so let's see. If we do this by the numbers, remember how we did that last time, we said write the reactant. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Silicon plus fluorine. I'm not going to worry about numbers and diatomics yet. I'm going to write the arrow. Now I'm going to write the product. Let's see, silicon is furthest to the left in the periodic table. So I'm going to leave Si and F there. My third step is check for diatomics, and yep, there it is. That fluorine there is diatomic, and it is alone, and so I need a 2 behind it. The other fluorine that's over here is not traveling alone. It's already with silicon, so it does not need a 2 behind it. All right. The next step is balance the product. Well, silicon is +4, fluorine -1, so if I reverse the numbers, it is Si F4. All right. And my last step is to balance the equation. So I'm going to put some lines up front here. I have 1 silicon on each side, but I have 4 fluorides on the right side. So I'm going to need a 2 over here. That balances the fluorides, and a 1 and a 1. So turns out what was wrong with this one was that 3 right there. That was what was wrong. Hope you got that one. All right, number 2. I asked you about synthesis reactions. Do synthesis reactions only have 2 reactants? Let's see, I'll write that down here. 2 reactants only? No. All right, they can have, that's not right, they can have 2 or more reactants. Okay, so we could have 3 or 4 elements, 5 elements on that left side. All right, second one was, can they have 2 products? And we know that synthesis reactions, no, that's not right. They only ever have 1 product. And the last one is, do they always have to include metals? That one was not right either. They can be any combination of metals and nonmetals. Okay, any combination. So the answer to number 2 was none of them were right. Remember, I've always told you, sometimes there might be 1 right, 2 right, 3 right, or none right. This time there were none right. So let's see on the diatomics. Chlorine, yep, absolutely right. Next one I gave you on letter B was oxygen. Yep, that one's diatomic as well. And the last one, iodine, yeah, element 53, it is also diatomic. So all of them were correct. All of them were diatomic. All right, number 4. I gave you lithium plus sulfur, and I wrote it as lithium plus sulfur with an arrow. So remember, in our 5 steps, we write the reactants first, and that's what we've done. We've written the reactants. The next step is to write the products. I'm going to put them together. The one that's furthest to left in the periodic table comes first, so that is lithium, followed by sulfur. Step 3, check for diatomics. Well, lithium is not diatomic. Sulfur is not diatomic. So I don't need to put any 2s because I don't have any diatomic elements. The next step, I need to balance my product. Well, lithium is +1, sulfur is -2. So it's going to look like that when I balance that molecule. And the last step is to balance the entire equation. Well, I have 1 lithium on the left, 2 on the right, so I need a 2 there. And then I have 1 sulfur on each side, and so it balances as 2, 1, 1. All right, the last one. Problem number 5, calcium plus nitrogen. So we're going to do that the same way. Calcium plus nitrogen. And I know in the problem I gave you, I showed you that nitrogen was diatomic, but we'll do it by our 5 steps just so that you can see how that works. So I've written the reactant. Step 2 is write the product. Calcium is furthest to the left. It's also the metal, so it's going to come first. So I've written the product. Again, no numbers. I'm not worried about that yet. Step 3, write the diatomics. So in this case, nitrogen traveling alone, I got to put a 2 there. The other nitrogen is traveling with calcium. It doesn't need a 2 behind it. Step 4, I've got to balance my product. And so in this case, calcium's +2, nitrogen -3. So when I switch those numbers, it comes up as Ca3N2. And my last step is to balance the entire equation, 3, 1, and 1. All right, so be sure you hit the big green check, submit that. Hopefully you're saving these under your name under Chemical Reactions folder. And we'll get on with our next little task here.